Youngsters who play more computer games show more prominent increases in knowledge over the long run, a review finds. Many guardians feel remorseful when their kids play computer games for quite a long time. Some are even concerned it could make their kids less shrewd. What's more, for sure, that is a subject researchers have conflicted over for a really long time. In our new review, we examined what computer games mean for the personalities of kids, meeting and testing in excess of 5,000 youngsters matured 10 to 12. What's more, the outcomes, distributed in scientific reports, will astound some. Youngsters were asked how long a day they spent via web-based entertainment, watching recordings or TV, and playing computer games. The response was, a lot of hours. All things considered, kids burned through over 2 hours daily watching the web recordings or TV programs, 30 minutes mingling on the web, and 1 hour playing computer games. Altogether, that is 4 hours every day for the typical kid and 6 hours for the top 25%, an enormous part of a kid's extra energy. Furthermore, different reports found that this has expanded decisively throughout the long term. Screens were around in past ages, yet presently they really characterize youth. Is that something terrible? All things considered, it's muddled. There could be 2 advantages and disadvantages for the creating psyches of youngsters. What's more, these could rely upon the result you are checking out. For our review, we were explicitly inspired by the impact of screen time on knowledge, the capacity to advance successfully, think soundly, figure out complex thoughts, and adjust to new circumstances. Knowledge is a significant characteristic in our lives and profoundly prescient of a youngster's future pay, satisfaction, and lifespan. In research, it's frequently estimated as execution on a wide scope of mental tests. For our review, we made a knowledge file from 5 errands, 2 on understanding cognizance and jargon, 1 on consideration and chief capacity, which incorporates working memory, adaptable reasoning, and discretion, and 1 surveying visual spatial handling, for example, pivoting objects to you, and 1 on learning capacity over numerous preliminaries. This isn't whenever somebody first has concentrated on the impact of screens on knowledge, yet research, up until this point, has created blended results. Anyway, what's unique this time? The oddity of our review is that we considered qualities and financial foundations. A couple of concentrates so far have thought about financial status, family pay, parental instruction, and neighborhood quality, and no review had represented hereditary impacts. Qualities matter since knowledge is profoundly heritable. In the event that unaccounted for, these variables could cover the genuine impact of screen time on youngsters' knowledge. For instance, kids brought into the world with specific qualities may be more inclined to sit in front of the TV and, freely, have learning issues. The lottery of hereditary qualities is a significant confounder in any mental cycle, yet as of not long ago, this has been difficult to represent in logical examinations because of the weighty expenses of genome examination and mechanical restrictions. The information we utilized for our review is essential for a huge information assortment exertion in the U.S. to all the more likely grasp Youth Improvement, the Adolescent Brain and Cognitive Development Project. Our example was illustrative of the U.S. with regards to sex, race, nationality, and financial status. The outcomes. We found that when we originally asked the kid at age 10 the amount they played, both watching recordings and mingling on the web were connected to less than ideal insight. In the meantime, gaming wasn't connected with knowledge by any stretch of the imagination. These consequences of screen time are generally in accordance with the past examination. In any case, when we followed up sometime in the not-too-distant future, we found that gaming affected knowledge. While youngsters who examinations more computer games at a decade were on normal not any keener than kids who didn't game, they showed the most gains in knowledge following 2 years, in both young men and young ladies. For instance, a youngster who was in the top 17% as far as hours spent gaming expanded their IQ by around 2.5 focuses more than the normal kid north of 2 years. This is proof of a useful, causal impact of computer games on insight. This outcome fits with past, more modest investigations, where members are haphazardly doled out to video game playing or a benchmark group. Our finding is likewise in accordance with equal lines of studies proposing that mental capacities aren't fixed, but can be prepared, incorporating studies with mental preparation mediation applications. Shouldn't something be said about the other two sorts of screen exercises? Virtual entertainment didn't influence the adjustment of knowledge following 2 years. The numerous long stretches of Instagramming and informing didn't help kids' insight, yet it was not impeded by the same token. Last, staring at the TV and online recordings showed a constructive outcome in one of the examinations, however, no impact when parental schooling was considered, rather than the more extensive element of financial status. So this finding ought to be thought about while considering other factors. There is some exact help that grade TV/video content, like the program Sesame Street, decidedly affects kids' school execution and mental capacities. In any case, those results are uncommon. While contemplating the ramifications of these discoveries, it is critical to remember that there are numerous other mental perspectives that we didn't check out, like psychological wellness, rest quality, and actual activity. Our outcomes ought not to be taken as a sweeping proposal for all guardians to permit boundless gaming. In any case, for those guardians irritated by their kids playing computer games, you can now feel better realizing that it's presumably making them a bit more brilliant.